What's up, guys? This is Star Augur Etraeus. This is Whatever We're Awesome's video. Just going to explain a few of the mechanics. This PTR test was done 8 months ago, so some things have changed, but mostly it's stayed the same. There is all 4 phases in this video due to a bug, which I don't know what it was. I didn't even bother looking it up, but it does give us all 4 phases, which gives us a lot of leeway in this fight. So I'm just going to explain the mechanics a little bit. The first mechanic is called Grand Conjunction. You can see here they have a DBM positional thing was still on 8 months ago, so they could make auras like this and circles like this on characters. Now they can't, so it's going to be a little bit harder of a mechanic. Basically what Grand Conjunction does is it put 3 star signs on a bunch of different players, and if you run into a player with a different star sign, the raid blows up and dies. So there's red, green, yellow. If a red and a yellow meet, they blow up. If a red and a red meet, it becomes null and void, and that's how you deal with the mechanics. So I think how it's going to be done here is basically there's going to be 3 markers, red, green, yellow, and the players with that star sign will go to those marks. But the hard part of it is you absolutely cannot be near another person with the same star sign as you. And you can't run into them if you're running around the platform, so it's going to take a lot of finesse. I'm sure there will be weak auras that will spam chat with which star sign you are, so you get chat bubbles. But other than that, I think it's going to take a little bit of finesse, and might be a little hard. Other than that, this is the first phase. Nothing has changed in the first phase. It's still just pretty much a training dummy. The first phase stops, I believe it's 90% into the fight, although it might be a timer and it might be a minute in, but I think it's 90%. So second phase will start here soon, but you can see Grand Conjunction a few more times. Just remember that none of these circles will be available, so that's not going to be fun. And you'll actually see them have a bad one, I think, here pretty soon. It's this one, yeah. So you can't be stacked up too tight or else it'll mess up. Here's the second phase. The frost phase is almost exactly the same, except for the debuff that people get icy injection. It still does the same thing and blows up. You can see people running to the edge with it on the left side, on the edges of the platforms. Grand Conjunction is still coming out. But in Mythic difficulty, whenever a player shatters, they create an ice crystal, which periodically causes a frigid pulse, which is 2.6 million damage to players within 5 yards. This really isn't evident in this video. I'm not sure if the mechanic. Oh, okay, actually you can see it. It's on the edge of the platform. You can see these ice crystals going left and right. Basically, it's just going to cause a bunch of the room to be taken up, and you really got to try and stay on one side of the room. But that is the only change on the frost phase. So otherwise the tank just needs to keep doing the meteors like you would in heroic and running them into a clump of players to drop it off of him, and that's basically the third phase. Second phase, excuse me. In the third phase, this is the fell phase. The change, you can already see these meteors falling from the sky. They are not meant to do anything except cause the room to shrink. They do cause fire. You can see they're trying to soak it. They weren't actually aware of what the mechanic was. So it's just going to cause a lot more fire to be around. The tank is going to have to clear fire with gravitational pull a lot more often. And basically it's sort of just an enrage for this specific phase, because eventually you're going to get to a point where the room is too filled up. Because meteors are just constantly falling. Fell Nova right here, it's the same thing. You need to get to the edge of the platform, requires a healing CD most likely. You can stack in this phase when Grand Conjunction isn't coming out, but if Grand Conjunction is coming out, you're going to get wrecked. So just make sure to clean up the fire with the meteor and get to the edge with Fell Nova and the debuff Fell Injection. It works the exact same. Place fire on top of fire. Pretty easy. Then we have the fourth phase coming up. So there's a couple of things to explain. There's a new mechanic that you're going to see right now. It's basically this huge beam. It's called World Devouring Force. It goes across the whole platform. You just have to get to the edges. that's the easy part. The harder part is what you can see right. If you look to the top middle, there's an eye. It's currently targeting someone back here that's gonna die. It's a hunter. It shoots a beam, and basically what it is if you've ever done Paragons of the Galaxy, the aim mechanics in Paragons of the Galaxy, it's the exact same mechanic. It targets someone. You can see it's targeting Jace right now, and if it's not soaked by multiple people, then you die. In this case, on live it says 2 million damage. I assume that's a mistype because in PTR it was 20 million damage. So I can only assume that was a mistype, because 2 million damage you could solo soak it all the time. So 20 million would be much more doable, or harder, I guess. The hard part about this phase is the fact that every time he does World Devouring Force, he spawns a new eye. You don't get to see it since they only get one here. World Devouring Force, I believe, is a minute cooldown at least. So it's sort of a hard enrage, because once you get too many eyes, it's too much raid damage. You really just want 2 and then probably kill it at the most. Since the eye is 20 million damage, I'm guessing you'll do just what you did on Paragons of the Galaxy, which was put rogues, mages, warlocks, basically anyone that had a cheat death or feign type abilities, or just mitigation like warlock. Shadow Priest was used back in the day, but I don't think that's a good choice now. You put them in the beam and they soak it every single time, and you're fine, because most of those classes can soak up to 4 million damage pretty easily with the mitigation that they have. And then you have the person that has the beam just either uses a personal, which every single class has personal for this, except maybe Holy Priest. And then if they don't have a cooldown, use an outside cooldown on one external, but I doubt that's the case, that you'll need that. The ads in this phase, they're exact same. The big ad does the fear cast. You can see they don't know what they're doing here. They just face it because they think that's the eye that you have to soak, because they didn't actually see it. I'm guessing on live that is going to be a lot more clear, because honestly that eye is way too small. It says, I mean, even the mechanic, the void beings devour the nearby planet, manifest a massive Eye of the Void. That thing is not massive, so I don't know. I think you'll definitely see a bigger eye in this case. That the voidlings work the exact same, the small voidlings, and the as well as the big ad, like I said, just does that one cast and needs to be killed immediately. And then as long as you can learn how to soak the eye and deal with Grand Conjunction all this time, Grand Conjunction all this whole entire time, it's a very doable fight. I do think it'll be 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th. I don't think that you'll go to Botanist before any of the fights, but I may be wrong, so we'll see. Other than that, that is Star Augur. Thanks, and see you next time.